Hey guys, welcome back to Tractors, Trails, and Living Free. And we're going to do a video of a little project I'm doing. Don't know where it's going to get inserted in the flow of our general videos and such, but today what I'm actually going to do is build a crawl space ladder that goes down through the floor, where there'll eventually be a hatch instead of crawling through our back window on the outside of the crawl space. So I'm just going to go ahead and show just a kind of a quick and easy way to build it. It's not going to be too detailed, but some people might be of some use to some people. So we'll go ahead and I'll go ahead and go inside where, I'll apologize, the lighting's not as good because there's not really power there in that room, and just kind of show you what we're doing, kind of explain it a little bit more, and then we'll just go ahead and get to work. So so let's just go ahead and see how it goes. Alright guys, so check it out. Here's what we're dealing with here. So the house we're remodeling here at the property sits on a crawl space, and just typical has 2x6 joists actually, because this is an old manufactured home, so there's like various I-beams going across here. So what I had to do to make this interior crawl space hatch, like some newer homes have with crawl spaces, because that exterior window entrance is so hard to get through, I wanted to do something I've seen where we build a basically almost like a hybrid of ladder and steps. It's almost like a sloped ladder for us. So what I did, we went ahead and made a cut right here of the joist, made a cut over there, and then I went ahead and screwed a 2x6 on each side to basically box in the framing. Put 3 screws on the outside. I don't know if you catch that there. 3 in the middle, and then 3 basically face screwed through the ends of the joists themselves to hold those in. So that's our opening. Now what we're going to do is it's probably about 4 feet down there, but we are going to have some slopes. So what we're going to do is I got 3 10-foot 2x6s. I'm actually going to mark them in the middle at the 5-foot level because I want it to be our 2 stringers. But I want to make sure that, whatever angle I put it at is not, more than 5 feet. I'm not going to have this touching the ground because this is non-treated lumber, and even if it was treated lumber, I really don't want it touching the ground, absorbing moisture and stuff like that, like all lumber will do to different extents. So I want to make sure whatever modification I make to this, based on slope and such, is no more than 5 feet for each one, so I can go ahead and do them both at the same time. And then we'll hopefully have it just kind of a couple inches off the plastic in the bottom of the crawl space. I don't know if you can see there, and that way it'll never be touching anything that could absorb moisture directly from, and it'll be flushed down, and it won't be protruding out of the above the subfloor. So that's kind of the situation right now. So just kind of letting you know what we got going on there, and we'll be back in a second. Go ahead and start measuring and cutting some things. So catch you in a second. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and do, like I said, we're going to go ahead and mark this this first 2x6 here at 5 feet. So we're going to kind of split the difference here. So I'm just going to go ahead and square that off, even though we're not ready to. All right. Now the next thing I want to do is kind of hold this up there to see where I want it, because it doesn't really have to follow a certain slope here like a stairs would. I don't really need to pay attention to rise and run as much because we're looking to fit into the opening. All right, cool. So kind of want to get something, get it the right angle. Let's slope it out a little bit so we can check it out here. Kind of see what we're doing here. I got it at a little bit of a slope. And like I said, you just need to get this wherever you're happy with it. I kind of want to just mark it right there. So what I'll do, go ahead and take our pencil. We'll just go ahead and mark it off flush with the joist, because that's where we're going to cut it. Sometimes the best way to deal with stuff like this is not really just to plan it all out and measure it to get started, but just to go ahead and set it in place, see what looks right and see where you want it. So I'm kind of okay with this. I guess I'm trying to picture the steps going down. Let's go ahead and make a mark here flush with the top of the joist. All right. Now it was sitting on the floor right there, so we're actually going to trim a little bit off the end when we do this. Now what I want to do is go ahead and cut this off right here at this line I just marked. And then I'm actually going to, when I cut that in half, I'm actually going to turn it around and use that same angle, because if it has the same angle here, it'll have the same angle right here. Go ahead and flip it around and use the first one as a template for the second one. So that's the plan right now. So we'll go ahead and get started, get cutting here. Obvious question is, what's going on here? I see. I see our blade's a little too deep. I thought this was sitting up there. It's actually catching the one underneath of it. Of course. Let's go ahead and try this again. So far, I can say it's not the ideal work situation. Now, I should be taking these outside and setting up my sawhorses and such. I really should, to be honest. This is kind of a Saturday afternoon project. It's getting kind of darker, and like I said, we don't have light in here, so I kind of want to get it going here. So, we'll try to make some progress on this a little faster. Alright, so I used that first one to go ahead and mark my second one up here, this line, so we're going to go ahead and cut this off. Now what I'm going to do to match that first angle, since like I said, it wasn't exactly like an even pitch, like a 2 for 12, rise to run, is I'm going to measure the short side from where we cut it on the left. Try to get that out there, we can see it. From where we cut it on the left over here to the end. We'll measure from there on to here on the bottom. And whatever that measurement is, then I'll replicate that measurement on the top side, and that should give us an even pitch, even though we did not have, even though we can't just flat out use a square and set it for us. So, it's like 4 foot and 1/8. So let's try to get that again. All right, doing your best to try to fall down in the crawl space. And again, we're going to use that first piece as a template for what we just did. So we got 2 identical pieces here. There we go, we're lined up pretty good on that side. Kinda. So now what we got to do is, because this is going to be sitting here like this a ways, what I'm going to do, and I'll try to get it level for you, this will be sitting kind of like that. I want to basically plumb off, make a plumb cut on this so it can sit right directly against there and get nailed against it, or I'm sorry, I'm going to screw it against it. So I don't really need more than 5.5 inches there, because that's what we have there, a 2x6, which is 5.5 inches. Now I do want to make sure this is square, so I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna find a factory end of the 2x6, square-ish. Use that and mark that off. That way we have a more or less square side right there. Hopefully it is square. And let's cut that off. time here. All right, it's pretty good. Okay. So I'm going to take, like I said, I wanted to not touch the ground. It's not, but it's kind of close. So I'm actually going to use the thickness of a board, which is 1.5 inches here. You might be saying, why am I not using a square for this? Well, I dropped it down in the crawl space, so we'll get it once we get down there. Since we took 1.5 inches off of that one, we're going to go ahead and cut 1.5 inches off of this one too. So there we go. Try to get it tight. And that should be it for cutting the stringers. I remember that when I made the blocking right here, and right here, at the end of the hole, it was like 29 and 5/8 inches, I want to say. So because of that, I got to cut my treads. It's going to have to be 1.5 inches off of each side of that. So that'd be 3 inches less. It'd be 26, and let's go 26 and 5/8. First piece, and let's prop that up a hair. Now, like I said, I was cutting too deep in that one before, so let's make a cut and hopefully it's inside of that. So 26 and 5/8. Perfect. Looks like that cut starts around 29, so cool. I like to cut like 4 stringers on this. That way I can get down there, start screwing things in. Once I start screwing things in, then I can actually climb up out of there and go get my square and whatnot. You know, after all the work's done, we can go ahead and do that, right? Sounds out of order, I know. Four steps will do us pretty good. So now we want to cut off this part that I cut into earlier. See how far we have to go for that. Probably take 4.5 inches off. And it looks like there will be enough left in this board for one more step. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and kind of start staging my work area here. Put my steps behind me and get the stringers kind of in place. So I'm using these 2.5 inch, let's see, 2.5 inch screws here. Move this other one over here. And let's see what we can do here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to attach this from the back and the side. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and get a couple screws started here, because this could be way easier just to, once I get it in place, is to go ahead and have them part way in. That way when I'm holding it, I can sink them in pretty quick. Let's go 2 on this one, I guess. Try to get this in place with this being the top, flush with here, this being flush with our blocking. I'm going to use my foot as a prop here or something. All that, yeah, that makes it way better. Let's go ahead and sink these in the rest of the way. Those are strong. Cool. And I'll do the same with the other one here. Go ahead and pre-tap these ones in here. Set the second one here. Again, use my foot as a prop. Try to get the back of it bearing against there so it's strong as it can be, I guess. Alright, those are in good. Neither one of them was touching the ground, but they feel strong as all get out. So, alright. Let's finally get that square out of there. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and try to set these maybe every 12 inches. That'd be perfect. Alright guys, so here's what I'm going to put the square on the top edge here. What I'm going to do is go ahead and mark 12 inches at the bottom here. Then just slide this over and get the other side. So there's one of our marks. So this top one here. And see if we can't get our second mark. Cool. Got that. And that will be the, that's going to be for a foot here. I'm going to go ahead and make that the top of the tread. So I have to do the same thing on this side. I know guys, this camera work is awful. It's awful. Poor lighting. I'm holding this while I'm doing it. Couldn't be worse, right? Thanks for bearing with me though. That kind of works, right? Alright. Okay. Mark the bottom there. And mark it over here on this side. Draw a line in between those two. Again, that'll be the top of our tread. Let's go ahead and attach that one in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send in at least 2 screws through each side of the outside of the stringers through the stringer itself. Now I plan to actually put blocking underneath these for extra support from like a 2x4, just 2x4 cut blocks. But for now, so I can do the job and get out of here, you know. Climb out of here without any problems. I'm going to go ahead and get this just attached as is for now. Now what I'm going to do is just like with the stringers, I'm actually going to pre-set these 2 of these screws from the outside here. That way when I go to put it in, all I need to do is sink it in and we're done. Something else I could do would be to go ahead and measure 1.5 inches down here from the thickness of the tread and go ahead and just install a block right there right now. And in some ways that would be easier, but I'd be climbing back out of the crawl and cutting all those up. So let's try to make something happen here. I'll be stuck down here all night. Try to hit it about halfway down, which will be 3/4 of an inch-ish. And get the other one. And do this. We'll do the same on the other side. So I'm going to do, just so there's no like steps sticking out, like catch someone's toe on and trip them on the way down. Go ahead and set the edge, the front edge flush with the stringer. Try to there we go. For some reason, even though my driver head has a real nice sharp point on it, and the heads on these Simpson ties seem really sharp, which is really good for getting a nice good cut on it. Seemed like it was still trying to slip on me. It's because I was doing it the wrong angle, so my fault. One step, let's keep working on it. So it's like a 1/4 inch here on the top, so I'm going to kind of have to account for that somehow to mark my next one. Let's mark that. And let's do the same thing on the other side here. Alright, we'll go ahead and set some screws here on the other side. It kind of looks like we're only going to need 3 steps, so I cut 4. Looks like we're only need 3. So based on where the last foot is, this could only be like 5 inches from the bottom. So let's do that. kind of when I do stuff like this, usually after the first one I kind of learn. What I'm trying to do is not be any farther in than half the thickness of the wood we're going through. So 1.5 inch thick. I'm trying to go to at least 3/4 out. Let's see if we can. Cool. Now the reason I did that was basically to pre-drill this, because now that I got that there, I can go ahead and see exactly where I had that at. Boy, those puppies are hot. So I'll do step one. I feel like there's one, like something I can do a little bit better to make it easier on the next one. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Okay. I want to make sure that was coming out of the right one. Alright, set this next one. That first one is a little tight, which is actually helping us, because now we get a little bit of friction fit, kind of hold things in place. Try to bring this forward a bit if we can. So I kind of tried to grab all the tools I thought I needed on the way in. Of course, trying to think I'm doing a good job being prepared. But didn't grab a hammer and I didn't grab a ladder. So I'm someone who's always talking about using the right tool for the job, but I kind of painted myself into a corner here. So now I'm just going to work around it. I gotta tell you guys, this is pretty awesome. Even if you're watching it right now in the blur, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I know it's probably not easy to see, but stay tuned. We're gonna do a little after here that kind of show you what we had going on. There's our line. Bring it up on their side, down. Got that in because it drew it right in. 2 more screws, guys, and I'm gonna call this one kind of done for. Well, no, I'm not. I'm not giving up. I'm gonna try to get those 2x4 blocks in, but I'll show you the after from what we got right here. No sense in you over watching another 20 minutes of work here, right? And get that last one in there. Let's call this one a ladder I can climb out of. Alright, let me do a little bit of cleanup here, and I'll show you what we got going on. Check it out, I forgot something here. So I put my foot on the first rung here at the bottom, and it kind of rocked forward a bit, and I forgot. I was going to attach that through the back as well. Got to do that, or this thing will probably rip itself clean from the screws at some point in the future. Hey guys, got all those put in. Now another thing I was going to do, which I don't know if I'll do tonight. I might. Looks pretty easy. You'll know whether you see that on our afters here. Is I actually wanted to attach a 2x4 to a block on the outside of the stringers to actually hang it from the joist as well. So not only will it be supported at the top of the stringer, but it'll almost be like hanging at the bottom of the stringer as well. That way it's really solid. It's a triangle. Let's go ahead and work on that. See what we got. All right, guys. So actually, I went ahead and did some reinforcing as well. In general, when I first attached this blocking here, I used just like general construction screws. They're probably 2.5 inches long, so they're really getting in there. But I went ahead and added these structural screws here. I added 2 there. I put 2 more on the front half here of both sides, and then 2 more on the outside here, where I said I put 3 regular screws in. So to just generally reinforce that whole joint there. So let me go ahead and climb out of here. Should be able to get out of here without falling to my utter demise. And if not, well, that was all for Tractors, Trails, and Living Free, right? So basically a 3-step ladder slash stairs that's attached there, not touching the crawl space on the bottom, and you can walk out cleanly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and start cutting blocks. I think I need 1 for each side of the steps, so it'll be 6, and then 2 on the outside of the bottom for that hanger, like the 2x4 hanger I was wanting to put through there. So I'll go ahead and get those cut, get them attached, and get that hanger on. See what you think. I think it should be rock solid at that point. So that was 5.5 inches. I'm going to go ahead and mark those all off at 5.5 inches here. Mark this one at 11. We moved our tape measure, so we're back to 5.5. Zip those off the square. It was 4 of our blocks, and we need, like I said, we need 8. So I'm gonna try to cut them over this this old plenum, this duct right here, and so they don't fall down in the crawl space on us. Now I gotta think about this here, guys, because I don't want to use up all my 2x4, so let's see how much I got first here. Kind of looks like I'll be making the rest of my blocks out of this 2x6, maybe. I don't know, I probably got a 2x4 in the shed, so we shall see. The remaining 2x4 we have left here is 5'10½". And if we go to the bottom, we're at 3'9 3/4". So I want to cut those so I have them 3'9 3/4. Then I'm gonna have to go out in the shed and get the other one. Maybe I'll grab a work light too. All right, be back in a second. All right, guys, we got I grabbed a work light to try to make life a little easier here, and another scrap piece of 2x6. Couldn't find a 2x4 in my shed, but I did find a 2x6. So what I'm going to do is actually make those hangers out of 2x6, do all the blocks out of 2x4. So back to work. 3'9 3/4. So where that 2x4 is, where I marked. I'll remeasure that. For some reason I marked the 2x4 at 3'9 1/4, which, if that works, that's cool. And that totally could work because I don't need to attach it to the very bottom. 3'9. We can do 3'9 1/4. All right, so that worked out good. This actually is 3'9 1/4. The piece I randomly grabbed out of the shed. This 2x6 is. So let's go ahead and cut 3'9 1/4. Well, let's go ahead and cut the rest of our blocks since we got this right here. Get back to those. They were 5.5 inches each. 5.5 inch blocks. So put those aside. Let's mark that other 2x6 at 3'9" and 1/4. Put this out of the way. All right, come here. Got those two pieces for hangers. There we go. All right, let's get this done. Cool. Now we're gonna need 4 blocks on each side to get this wrapped up. Go ahead and try to pre-sink our screws halfway in to start with, make them a lot easier. Nice. We'll go ahead and grab some screws, just kind of start to assembly line this process here. I'll go ahead and do this to the two rungs you can probably see on camera here. Just gonna seat it up underneath there like that. Alright, yeah, you see what's going on. And go ahead and sink those in. Cool. Do that down here at the bottom. We're going to attach these to the outside of this joist here. So since it's going to be attached on the outside, I need to have basically an 1.5 inch spacer right here to space that out. So that's why we're doing this. All right, cool. I'll try to put that flush on the bottom. Doesn't really matter. No one's going to see it, but I'll see it. To the other side here. I can't believe that one block split like that, even though none of the others did. Must just be like I said, the green one must just be connected there. So yeah, I will be cutting another one to fix that. So what we're going to do is that we're going to attach at the bottom here to that block we just installed, like that. And then attach it again flush with the top of the joist here, so that now we have something kind of taking the tension off of that. So let's go ahead and sink this in. in on each side. Call it. Well, I am going to cut that block. Don't want to lose sleep at night knowing that ain't. So I'm going to go ahead and recut that block, reinstall that one, wrap it up. All right, guys, we're back here to do the wrap up on this. Got the light out there showing you what we did. You can kind of see now how we kind of had that hanger on the outside holding the bottom up, not touching the plastic on the bottom. The only other thing I did that I didn't really tell you about was I did install these joist hangers at each end. And what that's for, if you can picture here, is to catch, there's going to be a joist screwed into the bottom of the hatch, but it needs to rest on something to be structurally supported. So it has that there. It's going to just go continuous from that one all the way back to this one. And I got the double wide hanger because if you get the single wide, it'll have to be perfect or it'll probably bind every time it falls. And since it's going to be screwed to the bottom of the hatch through the top of the subfloor, really doesn't matter that much. So as you can see, we got it fully in. You see the blocking underneath. I replaced that bad block. Everything's on there. Let's try to back it up, give you a good after here. And all right, guys. Well, that's a fun little project. Took me a little bit of time. There we go. Got some light. Took me a little bit of time, but just a nice, easy Saturday afternoon. It took me 3 10-foot 2x6s. I got extra left over. I don't really have much extra because there'll be another, like I said, 3 feet that'll come out for the middle here. So I did 3 2x6x10s. 1 2x4 by 92 5/8. I went ahead and got the pre-cut stud one because I knew I was just cutting blocking off of it. And a box of these 2.5-inch number 10 connectors and 2 of the double joist hangers there. I think I was in it all together for about 73 bucks. So probably worth it just to have this done and ready before the subfloor goes down. And yeah, I'll never have to bring my ladder in again on this. So this will make it way easier to get in and out of there, mess with the pressure tank, mess with the septic system aerator pump, and any of the well stuff down there will be the pressure switch on the tank or whatever. So yeah, guys. So well, thank you for watching with me. This took a little while. We'll probably time lapse through a lot of it so that it doesn't, you know, so you don't have to watch us do the same thing over and over and over again. But a real fun project. I'm happy with how it came out, and thank you guys for watching on Tractors, Trails, and Living Free.